Alhamdulillah wa sallallahu wa sallam ala nabiyyina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. So this is the other opening of a book that I'm going to show here. And this is Matn Abi Shujaa. So this is a cool book that recently I just got. And this is at the book fair from ithraa al-mutoon. And they have something going on where they had whoever signs up on their website, then they can get like an extremely big discount from buying some of their Matn. I'm not for sure how it all works out, but I signed up way back when I saw someone mention it. Then I saw this huge line up on them, and they were basically having a ton of people buying their books for an extremely cheap price. I believe this was like 240 guinea, if I'm not mistaken. And they had a sharh of شرح ورقات للمحلي that was around, I think it was 150 or 140. And basically what they do is they're focused on teaching. I don't know, all they have a lot of stuff that's on their website about like helping people learn, but that's their goal, is to help people learn these books. So this is Mukhtasar Abi Shujaa, and of course I've been teaching this or غاية الاختصار or غاية التقريب. And so he has this. And what they did, I saw a little bit of it. I peeked into it before, but this is kind of my first opening up of shooting and looking what's up with this. They kind of take the matn. Of course, they take good care to look at. They give like they talk about what they did with this. All right, and there's some of the things that they'll talk about, like those things. I guess you can barcode and QR code some of these things. All right. And so they try to make sure that the nas in and of itself is the best that it can. And so I don't know how many different manuscripts they went over, but they probably went over quite a few different manuscripts, and that's where they have these pictured here. So that's one. There's the awesome. There's another one. So they went through some of these different manuscripts, and then they also do, because of course if you have a kitab, you can have a kitab. Here it is. It's opening up. You can have a kitab, and all of it looks like this. Like, of course, if I were to show you a kitab, and you have it like this, everything's just written in one way, and you'll see maybe occasionally you'll have the whole kitab looks like this. And of course, this is what manuscripts are like. But if you were to read this and try to learn from this, it could be a little hard, without a doubt. Someone who's trying to read, and you have a book that has no breaks whatsoever, it's just all text, and nothing is broken up into sections, just a bunch of text, it's going to be a little hard for you to read. And just for an example, so here's a book which I will always recommend you. See this publisher, and الكتب العلمية. Don't buy from them. They're not good, and I'll show you why. This is just, you see this page? There's no breaking up of any paragraphs. You have this is the tafsir, and like this is the best I had at the moment when I was studying. So I bought it because there's nothing else for me to buy except something that was just as terrible. But you won't have any breaking up here. Like there's no paragraphs broken up and anything. It's just text all the way across. And so like if you're trying to look at a certain line, it's not going to be easy for your mind to just go and find it, but rather you're going to have to struggle with it. So breaking up the text into nice paragraphs is very important, and this is what this company does really good things with, so that you can understand what you're reading well. I've had some books that are very, very difficult just because it's just a bunch of words. But if you would have broken it up and like this, so you have like these things here. So okay, we're looking at fasl. All right, and then he right on the side, he doesn't change the actual word, because a lot of times in Matn Abi Shujaa, he doesn't say anything except fasl, which is just like a separate chapter or a section. شروط وجوب الصلاة والبيان النوافل. All right, there he goes. And then he says شروط وجوب الصلاة. Then he says شرائط وجوب الصلاة. Then he names it. 1, Islam. 2, bulugh. 3, عقل وهو حد التكليف. And there's just the way having this down, it makes it easy for you to understand what's going on. And of course, if this was my first time and I was taking notes with the class that I was going through, look at all the space I have to write notes on. I could write all kinds of stuff on here. All this free space for me to write notes on. This is very, very nice. Very, very nice. And then this fasl, all in one single page. Everything there. And I have so I'm working on finishing up the translation of this work, but I'll probably run it over with this to look over it again to make sure that there's no mistakes and whatnot. I'll probably run it over, and I like the way that they break apart these things with the And so they'll have just the way that they'll break these in, the sub paragraphs and whatnot. It really helps. And this is what I'll be doing with my actual, with my translation. That's why I've been doing a lot. I've been breaking down 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and all of those things. And if there's a subsection, I try to break it in to this, but they did such a good job here that I'm probably going to try to learn from them and see if I can copy some of that in the actual tarjama, inshallah. And one last thing when it comes to this book that I noticed is there are some things in the Matn Abi Shujaa that are not the mu'tamad, and these views are not shown as ghayr mu'tamad. So you'll find that these they'll run through them and they'll give it, and they're not the mu'tamad. So of these issues, such as in Hajj, they'll talk about the arkan of Hajj. He says, Halq ahad al-qawlayn, and this is actually, or this is the Ummah. And actually, this is the strong view. That it's halq. And then here he put them as wajibat al-hajj. No, like this is actually of the arkan of hajj, and there's no ta'liqat. There's no ta'liqat on the other side. And I went over a couple of the issues that are there's a list of, I believe it's around like 17 issues or so, but there's a list of issues that are ghayr mu'tamad in this book. In Matn Abi Shujaa, and they don't say anything about it anywhere here. And so I had to guess that someone who's studying this, they're going to go over it with the teacher, but it's as if most publishers, when they publish a book in the Shafi'i madhab and they care about like serving the madhab, they know that you gotta show what is mu'tamad and what isn't, if you want to get the point across. So that's just one thing to keep in mind.